Brother, every man carries a war inside of him between who he is and who he knows he's supposed to be. And you're going to suffer either way. You either suffer from discipline or suffer from regret. But only one of those hills is worth dying on. So choose wisely.
It's all on you. The Calvary is not coming. Ain't nobody coming to save you. You can blame other people all you want, and you can blame people for the next 80 years, and you're never going to live a purposeful life. You are what you are and where you are because of the decisions that you make, the thoughts that you think, and it's all on you. As a man thinketh, so shall he become.
It is time for you to go into isolation for some time. Not forever, but for some time. And it is in this isolated stage where you will evolve into the new you, who you truly are.
I'm at the point in my life right now where I'm just locking in. I can't keep worrying about distractions and things that ain't serving my purpose, because everything I do now depends on how my future looks. So I'm locked in and I'm focused.
Those times where you get up early and you work hard, those times where you stay up late and you work hard, those times where you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream. That's the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey. If you guys can understand that, then what you'll see happen is that you won't accomplish your dreams. Your dreams won't come true. Something greater will.
Say to yourself over and over again, I am unstoppable. I am unstoppable. I can do anything I put my mind to. And wonderfully enough, you do become what you think about most of the time. You also become what you say to yourself most of the time. And that means that you accept complete responsibility for yourself.
This is such an important part of your life, because what is happening is you are leaving your old life behind. The limiting beliefs which have been holding you back all this time, you are saying goodbye to.
Time does not align with that thought, right? Time is a scarcity, right? If we think in terms of time, a man-made construct, by the way, we only have so much time. Oh, I'll be happy when I graduate. I'll be happy when I get my first job. It goes on and on. And guess what? When you attach your happiness to an outcome based on time, that time will never come. You need to, in order to be happy, enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your potential. That's happiness. Enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. And you got to know what your potential is. What do you want? You need to consistently, every day, persistently, without quit, enjoy that pursuit. Why consistency? I think consistency is the most important thing, because consistency elevates your awareness. What's the lesson? Don't limit your point of entry. Consistently, persistently pursue your potential and enjoy it. That's all I did.
And so there has to be this point in your life where what you want is so much greater than where you are. You're in such discomfort. In other words, the gap between what you're dreaming of, what you're destined to do, what you're capable of, you're aware of it compared to where you are. That tension between the two has a pull power to it, right? I really believe that at the end of your life, you're going to get introduced to the person you could have been, you were destined to be, that he made you to be. And so I'm chasing that dude. Every day I'm chasing that dude. That's the pull power for me. I took the comfortable road. The comfortable road will never lead you to the person you were destined to be, ever in your life. And so if you don't become obsessed with chasing that person, you end up never meeting.
put an unfair pressure on people to have a vision, right? And I think that's true. We're not all Steve Jobs and we don't all have big world-changing visions, to your point. I do believe, however, you can find a vision, right? In other words, it doesn't have to be yours. It can be someone else's. We found Martin Luther King. We found Mahatma Gandhi. We found Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, the visionaries. And people go, I love his vision. Right? You don't have to have a vision, but I do believe you have to find one.
Some of y'all have a habit of dreaming within your bank account. Some of your thoughts and visions are so big and so outlandish and so powerful and amazing, you'll end up talking yourself out of that dream from saying, I can't afford that. I came here to remind you that when people laugh at your visions and ideas, it's only because they don't have their own visions and ideas around what they're supposed to do with their life or their careers. People that don't have any dreams for themselves, they tend to be dream killers. People that don't have their own visions, they become vision killers. They want nothing more than to talk you out of your own visions. They don't have dreams for themselves. They don't have any hopes. But I want to remind you to continue to dream and dream big.
So at any time, if you feel happy or unhappy, miserable, joyful, ecstatic, in a state of agony, doesn't matter what happens, what is your experience, pleasantness or unpleasantness, just to know that it's happening from within, and it can only happen from within. You can either take external stimuli or you can create your own stimuli, but essentially it happens from within. This one thing, if it is not grasped, when you feel miserable, if you think it's this one, you're gone. This is not going to work. This one basic fundamental thing is something that almost 90% of the humanity is always doing it wrong. Whenever they feel miserable, they think it must be this one or that one or that one or that one. No, all human experience is generated from within. The harder you try, the further away from it you go. First thing is to bring balance. Once there is balance, then you can build a tower on top of this.
So many of us are operating on patterns where we're trying to get needs met through other people that we have to focus inward first. We have to be able to fulfill ourselves, meet our own needs authentically before I can then authentically present them to another person.
The world doesn't need another perfect person. The world needs you. And you're trying your best. You're doing what you can. And, I think it's really important that you cut yourself a break and that you stop thinking that you have to be perfect. There are going to be days where you feel so underwater, and that's okay. You'll get through it. You'll figure it out. And you've got to understand that it's not about being perfect. It's about just being you.
And mine's like, I want to be in charge of you. I don't want you to be in charge of me. So it tells you, let's just stop right here. But once you start breaking through that barrier and start breaking down that governor that you've put in your mind, because we forget we are in control of our mind. We believe it's the other way around. No, we put in our minds what we should do. We have to reprogram it and tell us, no, 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 we're good. We're good, this sucks, but it's okay.
You don't have to necessarily have done anything wrong for things to get completely out of control. It's a terrifying doctrine, but it's not a hopeless doctrine because it still says that there's a way forward, there's a pathway forward, and the pathway forward is to adopt a mode of being that has some nobility so that you can tolerate yourself and perhaps even have some respect for yourself as someone who's capable of standing up in the face of that terrible vulnerability and suffering. Well, certainly by the avoidance of deceit, particularly in language, but also by the adoption of responsibility for the conditions of existence and some attempt on your part to actually rectify them. You know, if you take people and you expose them voluntarily to things that they are avoiding and are afraid of, you know, that they know they need to overcome in order to meet their goals, their self-defined goals. If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger.
Success is not rocket science. You go and find the thing that you don't know, learn the thing you don't know, and do the thing you haven't been doing, and get the life you say you want. All I wanted was unfamiliar. But you have to understand that most people don't invite in unfamiliar because people are more committed. People are more committed to a familiar discomfort than they are to an unfamiliar new possibility. The key words are familiar and unfamiliar. See, we want to have a new experience while having some of the same behaviors because they're familiar to us. They're familiar. Some of them not even comfortable. People in relationships are not even comfortable. It's just familiar. People are still at jobs that aren't even comfortable. They're just familiar. So that's the crazy, is that we're more committed to a familiar discomfort than we are to an unfamiliar new possibility because of the familiarity, not even the comfort.
To give people a vision of themselves beyond their mental conditioning and their circumstances, to let them know that they have greatness within them. But Khan, greatness, it's not our destiny. It's a choice that you have to make every day. You have to put yourself in the state of perpetual discomfort in order to manifest your greatness. You've got to reach outside of your comfort zone. So every day I look forward to the opportunity to inspire people to reach higher, to understand and know that what they've done is only a tip of the iceberg of what's possible.
Well, I think a fair bit of that's probably to be found in, you can find it in shame, you can find it in guilt, you can find it in conscience, you can find it in anger, you can find it in interest and engagement and beauty. There's lots of pathways. If you're angry about something in the world, well, it's speaking to you in a moral sense. This shouldn't be that way. Well, maybe you're the person who should do something about it in some manner. Maybe it'll take your whole life to figure out how to do that. Negative emotions can be a pathway to transformation. I'm not trying to romanticize them. They can crush you completely and leave you with nothing, for sure. And they can go badly astray. But shame, that's a good one. What am I ashamed of? Well, can you fix any of that? Because you might ask yourself, let's say you're so ashamed and so crushed that you're nihilistic and you can't see any hope for life. You're just done. You might think, well, what if I was less ashamed? I'm going to work on these things that I'm ashamed of and just see, like, does my life improve enough so that I'm not so bitter about it now, or I'm not so hopeless about it now? And my experience has generally been that that works. It works.
There are winners, there are losers, and there are people who have not discovered how to win. All they need is some help and assistance, just a little support. All they need is some insight or different strategy, a plan of action to make some adjustments that will open up the key to a whole new future for them, that will give them access to the unlimited power that they have within themselves.
If we do not do what we cannot do, there's no issue. If we do not do what we can do, we are a disaster. So I'm saying, at least are you as joyful as you were when you were 5 years of age? At 35, 40, if you are not as joyful and as exuberant as a 5-year-old boy or girl that you were, obviously you're a disaster because you're not even square one. That was square one of your life when nothing was in your control, all right? You're not even in square one, you sunk deeper. That's a disastrous life. Never before in the history of humanity, any generation had these kind of conveniences, these kind of comforts, these kind of wonderful things that we have today. Never before human survival was better organized than it is today. If we don't do it now, when? Many great beings have come on this planet, but when they spoke, hardly 10 people could hear. Today we can sit here and talk to the entire world. When we have this, if we do not transform the world into a more loving, joyful, exuberant humanity, it simply means we don't care. I don't want to go as that.
So it's little tiny adjustments that have the most profound effect on people. And it's never too late to say, I'm enough, I can find love. And now if you give someone the power to make you feel good, you give them the power to make you feel bad. And if you do it to yourself, you feel so much better. It makes you slightly bulletproof. You still need other people. We all need other people. But the dialoguing with yourself and starting with I'm enough,
You have to learn to do things you hate in order to do the things you love. No payoffs come without sacrifice. Imagine how much further you'd be if you did things even when you didn't feel like doing them. People think there's some complex formula to winning, when the most basic one is do what you said you were going to do before it became inconvenient.
Practice, 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 and do not accept failure. Maybe it shouldn't be repetition, maybe the answer should be persistence. Because we all repeat something, but very few of us really will persist. Get out there. Do what you want to. Do not accept no.
If you love what you do and it's making you happy, all the hard work and perseverance will pay off. I once had a guidance counselor tell me that I shouldn't play basketball, that it would never amount to anything for me. His negativity towards me made me stronger. You can't stop people from trying to limit your dreams, but you can stop it from becoming a reality. Your dreams are up to you.
The more you value comfort, the less you value progress. Discomfort is a necessity for fulfillment. We are made to face challenges, to set goals and conquer them, and to build great things. Realize that the resistance in your mind is the only thing that makes things hard. So embrace the difficulty, because that's where you'll find your true purpose.
I can't do that. The human brain cannot comprehend the negative. It is incapable. Yes, it's true. Can't tell the human brain not to do something, right? And so what happens is we very often reinforce things when we put things in the negatives. It's the same thing for you. If you focus on the obstacles, all you will see is obstacles. If you focus on the path through the trees, all you will see is path through the trees.
I feel like where there's tests, there's growth, right? You can't grow without tests, right? So we don't resist them. We don't run from them. We don't retreat. We fight, we navigate, and we find a way through it in order for us to grow and become the individuals that we feel we're destined to become.
Procrastinating is a form of fear, and it is difficult to acknowledge fear. But the truth is that you cannot create anything of value without both self-doubt and self-belief. Without self-doubt, you become complacent. Without self-belief, you cannot succeed.
The magic you're looking for in life is in the work you're avoiding. There's something that you know you should be doing, whether it be working on yourself, losing weight, writing something, working on your career. The magic you're looking for in life is in the work you're avoiding. Everybody wants to be a star, everybody wants success. You gotta work at it. If you really want to be successful, you have to work at it.
True change is actually not behavior change, it's not results change, it's not process change, it's identity change. And the way to being something or becoming someone is through doing something. So every time you sit down to write, every time you practice that habit, you are being a writer. Every time you play a sport, you're being an athlete. Every time you practice painting or music or whatever, you're being an artist. And habits are not only the method through which we achieve external measures of success, they are also the path through which we achieve internal change and actually become someone new. They're the path through which we forge the identity that we have, the deepest beliefs we have about ourselves, our sense of self. And so if you can change your habits, you can change your life.
The keys to success have only been two. The number one, he said, decide exactly what it is you want and write it down and make a plan to achieve it. And number two is determine the price you're going to have to pay to get it, and then resolve to pay that price.
Some people you will allow to unnerve you, and you wonder, what's wrong with me? I'm not crazy. That's why you got to learn to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to stand up inside yourself. Working on yourself, watching that inner dialogue, it will determine the quality of your life.
Realists are not afraid to look at the harsh circumstances of life. They sharpen their eye by paying keen attention to details, to people's intentions, to the dark realities hiding behind any glamorous surface.
And you've got to learn how to tune out the critics outside and the critic inside.
You are more alone than you imagine. This should not be a source of fear, but of freedom. When you prove to yourself that you can get things on your own, then you experience a sense of liberation. You are no longer waiting for people to do this or that for you, a frustrating and infuriating experience. You have confidence that you can manage any adverse situation on your own. Think of it this way. Dependency is a habit that is so easy to acquire. We live in a culture that offers you all kinds of crutches, experts to turn to, drugs to cure any psychological unease, mild pleasures to help pass or kill time, jobs to keep you just above water. It is hard to resist. But once you give in, it is like a prison you enter that you cannot ever leave. You continually look outward for help, and this severely limits your options and maneuverability. When the time comes, as it inevitably does, when you must make an important decision, you have nothing inside of yourself to depend on.
But in the end, the most important thing is, what's the purpose of your life? Why are you here?
Is you got to jump. You got to take that gift that's packed away on your back. You got to jump off that cliff and pull that cord. You can play it safe and deal without the cuts and the tags. And you can stand on that cliff of life forever safe. But if you don't jump, I got another promise I can make you. Your parachute will never open. You'll never know.
You want to take a beat, take this, you're gonna get locked out. You gotta get up, what?
you gotta work hard.
It's 24 hours belongs to me. Right. And whatever I do in this 24 hours will determine where I'll be tomorrow and the next day. And I think that's what people need to focus on. Like, get off of this, I want to make 6 figures. I want to drive this car. I want to live in this house. I think what people should be focusing on is, I have 24 hours. Like Oprah only has 24. Yeah. Bill Gates only has 24. Like Warren Buffett only has 24 hours. And in that 24-hour period, I can either break my life or make my life.
Strength isn't always about standing with a crowd. It's about standing alone when you have to. When the world gets quiet and it feels like no one sees your struggle, remember this: every great warrior has faced battles alone. Use that solitude to grow, to focus, and to become unstoppable. You don't need anyone's approval to rise. Your strength is enough.
So listen to me. There are those of you who said, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be the best at this company, right? But your value system says you believe in sleep more than you believe in grinding. Your value system says you are a consumer and not a producer. That you're spending more money than you're making. Why? Because you're a consumer, but you're reading all the books and you're saying everything the books are saying, but those books are not in alignment with your value. If you're going to go to the next level, your values are going to have to change.
Talent and good intentions are never enough in this world. You need to be fearless and strategic.
You're driven by your need to please others. If you're driven by your fear, if you're driven by your past, maybe it's time to free yourself. And the way to do it is decide. Decide consciously what you want your life to be about. Decide consciously what's the purpose of your life.
I will not go gently into that good night. I will rage against the dying of the light. I will practice random kindness and senseless acts of beauty, because minds are like parachutes and they only function when open. And Timothy Leary was right. In order to use your head, you've got to go out of your mind. So if you are a wonder junkie, if you believe, as Carl Sagan did, that understanding is a kind of ecstasy, if you are hungry for the sublime, learn to control your attention. Learn to control your mind, your thoughts, because you created the linguistic choices, the very words you use to map the reality, feed back into your reality. You are the painting, you are the paintbrush, you are the canvas, you are the question, you are the answer to the question you are looking for. You are also, my friends, the question. You are everything. We are everything. We are sentient. We are consciousness, the most sublime, miraculous thing in the universe. So you better be having a good time and authoring your fate. Turn your life into the living, breathing work of art, because anything less will be a tragedy.
You have to consider the price you pay for inaction. People presume that inaction has no cost. You don't get to not make a choice. Not making a choice is still making a choice. Every minute that goes by that this decision is undone is a choice.
Absolutely everything that has happened to you in your life has happened for a reason. You can see that everything is a dot on the map that has led you to this exact moment. It has given you a person or an experience or a lesson or a skill or a bit of wisdom that is now part of who you are. And what I want you to know is that standing here in this moment, you are standing on another dot. And this dot is part of the map that is leading you to where you're meant to go.
I'm talking about making a promise to yourself. So if you say, I'm gonna go work out at this time, keep that promise. I'm gonna eat this kind of food, keep that promise. I'm gonna eliminate social media, keep that promise. I'm gonna eliminate these negative people, keep that promise. And when you start making promises, small, tiny promises that seem insignificant right now, but over time stack up and build massive confidence, that's what you're doing. Because your confidence is really your reputation with yourself.
what's most real might be what's there when the times are hardest. That's a different concept than, the material is what's real. It's like, no, what's real is what sustains you through the worst catastrophe.
We just put things off over and over and over again. Why? Because we haven't accepted it. We don't feel deserving. We don't feel that we're good enough. So we sabotage ourselves by not ever taking care of business. We get real busy doing a lot of things where we don't have any time.
Because there's people in the world that have skills and strength and talent that I will never have. All have limitations. Does that mean that I quit? Of course not. I'm gonna try to be the best that I can be. The strongest, the fastest, the smartest. That's what I'm gonna go for. It is possible. How close can I get to that greatness?
Dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline and consistency.
The road to sustained happiness is through disciplining your behavior.
Discipline eats motivation for breakfast. You don't need motivation. It's great if it arrives. It's some extra fuel on the fire. But discipline is the thing that you need. What would you tomorrow want you today to do? You tomorrow would want you to keep that promise to yourself. And it's why discipline is so much more valuable.
But you weren't connected to you. You had been disconnected from yourself, so you don't even feel the capacity to dream again.
And so when you are confident, you will experience temporary defeat. When you are insecure and you lack confidence, you will interpret temporary defeat as failure, and you will give up. And that is how people become average. That is how people stay average. And that is how years will go by, and you will see that person, you go, man, they had so much potential, but for some reason failed to launch in life. And it is because they accepted doubt and they eroded confidence.
No matter what's going on in your life is not permanent. Everything is going to change. So there's two things you can do with change. You can react to it or you can participate in it. It's gonna change anyway.
Every day you have to plan. Every day. Hard work works.
Sometimes bad things happen to good people. I don't know why. Life is not fair. And that is the reality. So, what do? Are you going to get angry? Frustrated? Are you going to lash out at people? Who are you going to lash out at? Are you going to start going down the spiral of negativity? Are you going to let the horrible situation dictate the way you feel and the way you handle it? Or are you going to lead? Are you going to face this issue with courage and resolution? I say lead. Lead. Step up. Be the one who people look to. Absorb the impact and the negativity. Draw fire.
If you wake up in the morning, you start having negative thoughts, man, this ain't my day. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm tripping, I just don't feel myself. In the middle of the day, if you feel yourself doing that, stop, just stop for a second. And start going over in your mind everything you have to be grateful for. Not everything you want, everything you already have. Because what you have is substantial. You just haven't gone over the list and taken inventory in a long time. But the fact that you can walk, that's a blessing. The fact that you woke up, that's another blessing. The fact that you can see, think, reason, that's another blessing. I could give you 50 things you ought to be grateful for right now. I don't even know you. Start coating your mind with gratitude. It'll change everything for you.
There is no one stepping in, coming down the aisle to play that for you. No one can make the decisions for you as a shot caller, as a leader, but you. You have to be confident. But you can't be confident if you haven't put in the work. Confidence comes for the fact that you've gone through so many scenarios by yourself, so that when it's asked to be done in public, you can be confident because it's not part of your preparation. You are already prepared.
Lazy people do a little work and think they should be winning, but winners work as hard as possible and still worry if they're being lazy. He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. There are some things in life that are out of your control that you can't change and you gotta live with. The choice that we have, though, is either to give up or keep on going. I wanna ask you, what are you gonna believe? Are you gonna believe in yourself? Are you gonna believe everybody else's judgment on you? Are you gonna believe people when they say that you're a failure? No one really likes you, no one really cares about you. Situations that happened that was out of their control, and when you think about when things happen, the first thing we try to do as individuals, how can I control it and how can I manage it? And if I can't control it and manage it, now I'm frustrated and I'm mad about it. In the words of an older gentleman, he told me one day, he said, young man, you can't speed up the river and you can't slow it down. At a certain point, you gotta have some faith.
You see, all of us want that person in the huddle. Everybody wants that person on their team that believes, that person that says, we're not done, not now. We're not quitting, not now. We're not losing, not now. Why? Because I was born for now. I was born for this moment, and I was born to be beside you. The only question I have, and the only question you should have, is who is going with me?
Maybe you're here because you need to hear this. Maybe you're here because you need to dust off your dream. Maybe you need to explore your imagination. Maybe you just need to identify your guilt so you can quit tripping in your own life, trying to figure out what you can do when God already planted inside you a long time ago.
You will see that in the very act of standing up, in the very act of fighting on, you will become and you will remain unbroken.
When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person that walked into it. That's what the storm is all about. When you can't control what's happening to you, control how you respond to it. That's where your power is.
So you have this big dream, you can see it so clear, like it's right in front of you, you can go out and touch it. But the thing about it is somewhere it could dream big enough, somewhere down that journey, that dream becomes the nightmare. And what happens in that nightmare, so they have all these questions like, why am I here? I'm not good enough. Trust me, I know all about the questions. They will flood your mind. If you do not have the answers for them, you will quit. The answers lie in the repetitions. You must not forget the repetitions you put into trying to dominate the craft that you're in today. Always, always embrace the suck, adapt to the suck. But I tell you, there are some times in life where you fall down and you feel like you don't have the strength to get back up. Pretend that everything's okay when it's not, and you go home and lay in your bed when no one's looking at you, when you don't have to impress anybody, and you're yourself. And fear comes in. Maybe you have doubt in your life. Maybe you don't know for sure what's going to be happening in the future and it scares you. Maybe you're worried about what people think of you, what people say about you. Because that fear paralyzes you. And I just want to ask you today, do you think you have hope?
Villain and the hero almost always have a great deal in common. They both have a backstory of pain. You will normally see the villain with some sort of scar on their face or a limp or something that says they've been hurt in the past. The hero has also been hurt. They had a challenging backstory as well. The difference is they responded differently to that pain himself. The hero said, I am not going to let this happen to anybody else. I'm going to take the villain down. The villain says, I'm going to seek vengeance against the person who hurt me. I got hurt. I'm going to hurt other people now too. Hero takes the exact same situation and said, well, this just got harder. That's going to make the story a lot better when we conquer this thing.
I do not believe that any of us have dreams that were not given to us for the purpose of accomplishing those particular dreams. And I want to share something with you. I don't know what that dream is that you have. I don't care how far-fetched it might appear to be. I don't care how disappointing it might have been. But that dream that you're holding in your mind, that it's possible.
You could be a lot more than you are. You could be so much more than you are that the boundaries of that are unimaginable.
We get hurt, and either we don't want to deal with it because it's too painful, or we don't know how, which I think is often the case. And that hurt, we don't like feeling hurt, but without knowing it, hurt turns into anger. And then anger over time turns into bitterness. It starts to change the way we live.
In your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance.
We can't see the whole story. God is riding with our life. God is riding with our situation. But understand that what you're going through is a chapter in your book. You see right now is the chapter that you're living in, but it's only a chapter. Don't let a chapter of your life define the rest of your life.
Every person who activates your sorrow, anger, frustration, depression, disappointment, rage is actually come into your life, has actually come into your life to teach you love.
Yeah, we all are great. We all should think that we're great. There's no reason for you to not think that you're great. If you don't think you're great, ask yourself why. Why don't you think the highest of yourself?
Pull yourself together and quit tripping because you in the process. God is processing.
There are winners, there are losers, and there are people who have not discovered how to win.
Have a faith, that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's one thing, but you got to believe that this is your destiny and this is what you're supposed to be doing in life, if you really want it. And I think as a human, sometimes you feel like you always got to wait for the right time, what makes sense to you to actually start executing, to actually start, to stop making excuses, to doing the things that you always wanted to do.
You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great.
I'll get to it tomorrow. I'm like, who promised you that? Right? I'll get to it a month from now. I'm like, who promised you that?
Right? Because life changes so quick, right? And as people, we're often arrogant. I was one of them. We live our lives and we feel as if we're promised something.
You see, you are what you are and where you are because of what's gone into your mind. You can change what you are, you can change where you are by changing what goes into your mind. 98% of the people in our Western civilization have a picture of themselves which is so narrow and so shallow that it literally bears no resemblance to the real person who is there.
Your identity is defined by who you believe you are and who you believe you are not.
Every day, do something that moves you toward that goal, that keeps that goal alive and in sight and in focus. However small or insignificant that step might seem, take it. Do it. Make it happen. Because that goal isn't going to achieve itself. It is all on you.